Okay, good morning, girls. Welcome to our grammar lesson today, which will be on prepositions. We're finished with everything modals, at least for your level. So we're done with modal verbs. We're going into prepositions. And those who have been very attentive in my class will bear witness to the fact that this word is not alien to you. I don't expect it to be. Once or twice before, we've come across the word preposition, especially in our spelling lessons, where I've had to give you part of speech to certain words in the before, and we've come across one or two words that mean preposition. Okay, and I remember very vividly that I've had to explain the word preposition in our spelling lesson. So, with that in mind, today's lesson is going to go further into that. It's going to give you some examples of prepositions and how to use them. Before I go into examples, as in Rule 1 and the rest, I'll give you a brief definition. What is a preposition? For your level, as beginners, or people who are learning this extensively for the first time, the simplest way to describe a preposition is that they are words. Prepositions are words that show location, direction, or time. Keep location in mind, okay, as the primary thing to remember. Prepositions are those words that show you the place of something. I'm sure this should ring a bell now for the attentive students. The position of something. For example, I say my book is on the table. So you see, I'm showing you the place of my book, the location of my book, where it is, which is on a table. So the word on here indicating the location of the book in relation to the table. All right? Where is my bag? It's under the chair. Okay, so under is showing the place of the bag, location of the bag, under the chair. Okay, so keep that in mind, please. Prepositions show you the location of something. They can also show direction, they can also show time. And we can, just for your level, I'll stop here, okay? When you go to, the higher you go, grade 7, by the time you get to grade 7, you'll be giving a more comprehensive definition, a more technical definition of the word preposition, all right? Another thing for you to keep in mind is that this is a part of speech. Just like you have nouns, adverbs, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, preposition is also a part of speech, okay? Now, examples of prepositions. 1, see the title here, prepositions of position. So showing you the place of something. So, examples as in Rule 1, beside, between, and among. Now let's see how we use these three prepositions to show the location or the position of nouns. Now it says we use besides when there are only two persons or things involved. Let's look at this example here. It says only when two persons or things are involved. You see in this diagram, there are only two people. So I stood beside John. Let's assume John is a boy's name. So let's assume this is John. You see the arrow pointing to the speaker, I. So this person stood beside John. We use beside when there are only two people or things involved. You see, she's standing beside John. Now the next one says, we use between when there are three persons or things involved. Now let's see. See the second illustration. It says, I stood between John and Mary. This is the arrow indicating the speaker, the I. So you see, we use between when there are three things or persons involved. There are three persons here, okay? And the speaker, the I, is standing between John and Mary. So please, we use between when we're referring in reference to three things or three people, as in here. And between shows the person in the middle. See the arrow here, between this person and this person, in the middle of this person and this person, all right? Now, the next one says, we use among when there are more than three persons or things involved, and we think of them as a group. So besides only 2 people, between 3 people, among more than 3 people. Okay, now let's see. It says, I stood among my friends and told them a story. So you see, there are more than 3 people here. And it says, in the case of among, think of the people you're referring to as a group, the people or things you're referring to as a group. Okay, so you see, this is a group of people. And this person, the speaker, is standing among them, okay, with the group. So this is her standing among this group of people. I stood among my friends. This is her standing among her friends, in the midst of her friends, and telling them a story. Okay? So a quick recap of rule 1, besides, when we're referring to 2 people. Okay? She is beside John. John is beside her. Okay? Between, when you're referring to 3 people, the person or the object in the middle of them. So she is in the middle of Mary and John. She is between Mary and John. Now, the third one, among, used for above 3 people, when you're referring to more than 3 people. So when you say more than 3 people, remember, if I say more than 3 people, I'm not saying 3 people. I'm saying from 4. So if I want to use among, I should count not less than 4 people and above. Okay, so when I say not more than 3 people, I'm not going to include the number 3. I'll start from 4 and count upwards. All right, so take note of that.